Hello everyone, welcome back to the 5-Minute Tech channel. This is the third video of our Angular journey. We'll be talking in this video about the templates, interpolations and directives in Angular. So let's just get started. So we have already covered the basic setup of Angular and also the components and how it works. So what is the template in Angular? Basically template is something which helps HTML to render the UI properly. So it's like a blueprint for a fragment of a user interface. So they are basically written in HTML, and the special syntax can be used within a template to build on many of the Angular features. Now it helps in enhancing your HTML. The Angular extends the HTML syntax in your template with additional functionalities, which we'll be talking about in subsequent slides. Example, you can see like data binding syntax helps to set the DOM properties dynamically, and almost all HTML syntax is a valid template syntax. However, because Angular uses the template in only a UI fragment, it does not include the HTML body and base. How do we define a template in a component? So basically what we do is we write a template or template URL in an Angular component. So in the first screen, if you see, there is a template which is defined in a line wherein we are doing a h1 tag and entering the interpolation of page title, which property is defined as you see below, and it will be passed on to the interpolation. Second way of doing it is inline template with backticks. Now this is a ES6 feature wherein you can put a backtick and put a multiple line HTML, and that will be rendered. The linked template, in which you can provide a template URL and provide an HTML file which would be rendered through the component. Now there are different types of Angular directives. The directive types are basically components, attributes and structural directives, and it will be in the form of a component itself. Attribute directives, they change the appearance or behavior of an element, component or another directive. And structural directives, we change the DOM. So built-in attribute directives, why do we call it as a built-in? Because this is provided by the Angular. The Angular provides you certain built-in attribute directives. Example of this is ng class, ng style and ng model. Built-in structural directives, again this is some set of structural directives which Angular provides, which are ngIf, ngFor and ngSwitch. So we'll move on to the demo part. So I have already created a base set application which has a certain bootstrapping already in place, wherein we have app module which has certain components already in the declaration, and we have already imported that. I'll be creating a new component, so I'll go ahead and use Angular CLI. We have already talked about it, how to use it. So I'll be creating a component called a project list. So we have successfully created the project list component, and now we'll go ahead and check whether all the bindings or bootstrapping is completed. So project list is added into the ng module in app module. We'll go ahead and open the project list component and its HTML. So the application has successfully started, and as you see it is loading. So I'll go ahead and try to launch the project list. So we have to add the route. So here we go ahead and write project list, and it goes to project list component. Now we save this, close this, remove this, and now we will try project list, and the project list works. So we'll go ahead and add some basic HTML. So I have grabbed some basic HTML and I have pasted it here, which is a set of columns in a table. And also what I have done is added some data which will be used to fill in the table. It also has a property called page title, which will be having a particular string value, and it will be binded to the HTML through interpolation. So this is how the interpolation works, wherein you can do a one-way binding to a particular property in HTML. Similarly, we also have here is ngIf. So for example, if my project list is not present, my grid will not show up. So I'll demonstrate that right now. So if I just comment this out and save this, you would not be able to see the whole grid itself. So that is how ngIf works. Now we also have an implementation of ngFor. Now ngFor has two variations of in and of. So if you write like this, it returns you the index like 1 2 and subsequently the number of items it is having, and if we write as of, it will be returning the actual object of it, and that's why I'm able to bind the actual properties of that particular array items. So that is how the interpolation and data binding works. So we'll run this application once again, and as you see, the data is getting binded and it is coming in the form of a grid on the UI. Similarly, you can also use this component. So I have defined it as a app project list component. I can very well use this particular component as a directive, which I just was explaining in the slide, that you can use this component as a directive in another component. So consider I have a home component and I want to use it as a directive here. I can very well go ahead and use it. So I'll go ahead and save this, and when I run /home, because I have made change in the home component, you should see that the project list as well as the home work. So project list comes into the directive, which is as a directive in home component. So that's pretty much from this third part of the Angular journey. Next we will be diving deep into the data bindings and the pipes and how it is used in Angular. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day. Bye. Take care. Bye.